Hey, it's Rob from Wheelworks Bike Shop in Dublin. We are trying to catch the sun today. It's in and out of the clouds, may or may not work. I wanted to show you this bike, which is it's a it's an older model, previous generation speed concept. I think there'd be a Gen 2 is probably what they would call it, and we've no power on the Di2, so we're going to have to leave it in the small chainring, which is very on Instagram, YouTube. So anyway, I wanted to show you this because it was a top of the range, very high spec, very cool build that we did, and it has been both a triathlon bike and a TT bike. So we've got a couple of different bits to show you. So the sun's coming out now, so if Benjamin gets in a bit closer there, you can see one of the coolest paint jobs Trek have ever done. The sun's gone again. That was like 5 second sun. Anyway, we'll go through some of the highlights of it. So it's a speed concept. I can't remember what the numbers and letters were. It was before the SLR. Anyway, it's a Dura Ace Di2. We have an oversized pulley on it. That's an SLF one. It's Bontrager Aeolus 9 TLR wheels, so it's the 90mm deep Bontrager Aeolus wheels. They're a narrower rim than the more modern ones. It's obviously a rim brake bike, and the brakes on this guy on the rear are down here, mounted on the bottom bracket, and then there's a speed fin mounted over it. So for time trial, to be UCI compliant, this speed fin had to be changed out just for a brake cover because you weren't allowed running extra fairing. It's got an integrated, what's called a duo trap, which is a speed and cadence sensor. So a cadence magnet mounted here and a speed sensor inside here, which would pick up a magnet on the spokes. Your front brake is built into the caliper. It's actually a pretty good brake as far as rim brakes go. Rim brakes on carbon wheels were never all that much fun to play with, but it was one of the better ones. You got a carbon seat post which is reversible, so you can run it in a rearward position like this for a more time trial setup, and you can reverse it and put it into a forward position for a more triathlon setup. It's set up at the moment with a Verse Pro carbon road saddle, but I would have ridden one of these with a tri saddle, the split nose tri saddle. Some of the cool, I'll keep going with the regular the TT stuff first, I suppose. So the rider that was using this bike has it set up with grip tape on the bars, which is lighter and thinner than bar tape, and it gives you a very good grip, and that's on the extensions as well. Zip computer mount in the middle, Di2 shifters on the brake levers and up on the extensions. The speed concept came with a variety of stems, or it could be built with a variety of stems. So you had, this is the far, so it's the forward mounting one, and there was a low, a mid, and a tall, and then there was a further back one, a near one, and again low, mid, and tall. So you had 6 different bottom stems, all of which came with different caps, and your Di2 junction box was supposed to go inside these caps, but with the lower ones there isn't really enough space, so we typically drilled them and mounted the Di2 junction box and charge point on top of it. It's hidden in behind the stem here, so it's out of the wind. It's not going to cause an aerodynamic issue. The top stem here also came in a variety of sizes, from I think like 10 or 15 to about 50, and then the tri-bar extension could be tilted. As you can see, this one is tilted up slightly, so there was a tilt angle adjustment on it, and then you could move the tri-bar fore and aft, and the armrest can be mounted in any of these positions, either with the back sweep or a forward sweep, and then the armrests can be mounted back and forth and in and out, so you've got a ton of adjustability on it. There's also a bottle mount that goes over this so that you can put your drinks bottle between your arms. On the tri saddle, which not in this bag, but on the tri saddle there's bolt mounts directly in the saddle that you can mount a rear mount onto it, and then for triathlon setup you had a couple of pretty cool things. So this is a draft box, and there's bolt mounts here. you put on a little bracket, and then that sits in here, and that's where you carry all your spares. It improves the aero of the frame, and it allows you to carry things like spare tubes, tyre levers, without having to put an ugly saddlebag on. This is your speed box, and that bolts directly onto the frame as well. It sits in here, and that's where your food goes for long distance racing, so gels or bars or whatever you want to put in there. You've got the usual 2 bottle mounts here. I think we might have, yeah, so we have, that's one of the extra size stems, so you could drop it down or raise it up with those. So that's a very cool Trek Speed concept. This is it's a customer's bike that we've taken as a trade-in, which actually sold before it even went on the floor. But it's a very high spec one and a really cool paint job. And I thought it'd be nice to do a video on it. So that's it.